friendly neighborhood Spider-Man Kevin here, and we're going to talk about the wiimote. We talked about the Wii, now let's talk about the wiimote. Here we have the wiimote, the motion controller. Not the first, there's been many kind of failed experiments. The Power Glove, this thing that Atari had that just stuck on your head and you moved your eyebrows, and just a lot of experimentation, but never really anything that quite caught on. And obviously this caught on, and let's start looking at it. This particular remote has a charger. As you can see, this model is the normal you'd get with the system. It takes 2 normal AA, and it'll get kind of expensive, so I suggest buying a charger. This particular is a Nyko, so you can see the rechargeable battery in here. Has an interface. These 3 bumps, or 3 electric lines. This will save you tons of money, because you will, if you play a lot, you'll go through the batteries pretty quick. Okay, in the back is an expansion port. I don't know of too many controllers that have expansion port. I know the 3DO controllers could be daisy chained, but I don't think that counts as actually an expansion port. This can be used for a whole host of devices, mostly for the nunchuck, and then the classic controller, and then there's the New Motion Plus controller, and there's a bunch of different joysticks, classic looking controllers. There's a whole host of things. This is what makes this controller really great, is the ability to expand it and change the functionality. In the front here is the buttons. Not a lot of buttons compared to, say, the PlayStation 2 controller, or even the SNES controller. We have the directional pad. Actually, this looks a lot like an NES controller. Kind of a slimmer version with rounded sides. And we have a button here. These plus and minus are used just like start and select. They're used a little different in some different games, depending on what you're playing. And 1 and 2 could be used just like A and B in this position. Then you can hold it like this, pointing at the screen. This acts as a trigger, or a B button, which it's actually B, A and B, but can be used as a pointer or a zapper in some games. And that pretty much sums it up. We have a power button, which doesn't really turn it off, it just puts it in sleep. Speaker here, some say the speaker has low quality, so I think it's great. I mean, you don't want to like spend a whole bunch of money on making a really high quality speaker that's going to be inside the remote. I mean, and the controller. I mean, it's nice, it's small, and it makes good enough sounds for me, I think. You know, you swing a bat, or the arrow, and bow and arrow and Link, and it works really good. Then there's these lights that indicate which controller, and then when you first turn it on, it'll light up to a certain point to tell you how much charge you have in the battery. You also get that information from the Wii itself. Oh, and there's the home button, which takes you to a home menu, which works in almost all the games. Some of the homebrew software doesn't quite work right, but you know, others it will. It all depends on the homebrew. Great little device to play games with a little more standard functionality. They give us the nunchuck, which gives you 2 more buttons, Z and a C, and an analog stick. Very comfortable, very nice. Fits well. Feels a lot like a handle on a GameCube controller. Then for classic games, finding games. More and more games are getting support for this controller. You know, that side, well, you know, we're not going to force you to use motion controls. It's going to be an option, but we're going to let you use this, which is pretty much set up like a Super Nintendo controller. You see the buttons on the top, your dual analog. It's a little small, but all in all, it works pretty good. These buttons, I've never used these buttons in any game, so I can't tell you if I ever would. I think you might be able to use them in Smash Brothers Brawl, but I don't know. I don't seem to even find a functionality. As you can see, it plugs into the back just like the nunchuck. Ta-da! And finally, you can still use these, which these are great for Nintendo 64 games. Well, the mapping, this is better for, say, Super Nintendo games. So Nintendo 64 games, on the Virtual Console, use the GameCube controller. You'd want to use this for your Super Nintendo games, and probably this for standard Nintendo games. As far as the Neo Geo games and Sega games, maybe this controller would work better, but who knows. It all depends on those games. Some of them only support 2 buttons, some support more. So that's my discussion on controllers. Please leave a comment. Please subscribe. I'm out of here.